Tuesday. Here we go. Adani Group's big infra bets pay off amid COVID. Experts say all group companies except Adani Power are financially self-sufficient. Difficult to believe. However, crony capitalism at its best. Somebody is making a whole bunch of moolah. However, maybe in this time of uncertainty, you really need some people to take the leap of faith and take the risk. And maybe Adani is the guy, who knows? Next we have Warburg to sell clean max stake. Energy, renewable energy, solar space, humming as I told you before. What's happening in the world that we should be worried? Back Anwar for PM, Najib tells party members. Former Malaysian Premier and now ruling party lawmaker Najib Razak sought support from coalition lawmakers on Monday to back a Prime Minister bid by opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim. Interesting. What's happening in the US news? US early votes exceeds 2016. GOP chips away at Dems' advantage. Apparently, it was 51-25 on October 15th. Now it's gone to 51-31, the number of people voting Democrats and Republicans. What do we have here? Turkish president backs boycott of French goods as tensions escalate over cartoon rule. You know, I really want to ask the good people of Turkey, of Bangladesh, of Pakistan, people who are now burning flags and demonstrating. Where is their voice when it comes to the persecution, incarceration of the Chinese Muslim in Xinjiang? Where is it? Is money more important than religion? This is sheer hypocrisy, folks. Then, there's religion all over the place. US steps up diplomacy in Caucasus feud. Here again we have a situation. Pompeo meets with his counterparts from Armenia and Azerbaijan whose differences are stark. Even though they've met, the war continues. Again, it's like going into Erdogan and this Azerbaijan, Muslim, Armenia, Christian, all kinds of stuff. Interesting news that I heard. Russia shoots down a total of 9 Turkish Bayraktar drones near its Armenian military base, Russian media report. Russia has got no place to go. Then you have Ananya Birla slams US restaurant for being racist, saying the Italian-American dining place in California literally threw her and her family out of the premises. This is a restaurant called Scopa Restaurant. Literally threw my family and I out. I found this extremely interesting and hopefully powers will take note. UP Prevention of Cow Slaughter Act being misused against innocent persons, Allahabad High Court. Whenever any meat is recovered, it is normally shown as cow meat without getting it examined or analyzed by the forensic laboratory. In most cases, the meat is not sent for analysis. The accused person continues in jail for an offense that may not have been committed at all, which is triable by a magistrate having a maximum sentence of up to 7 years. This is really diabolically bad. Then you have cannot stand it. CGI laments standard of TV news debate. What does he say? Frankly speaking, I cannot stand it. This has never been a part of our public discourse, he said, about the high decibel television debates. Frankly speaking also happened to be the title of a show presented by Goswami. So the Supreme Court bench, also comprising Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Rao, said, we are more concerned about peace and harmony in the country. Nobody is immune from being questioned. We can ensure questioning is done in keeping with your right to dignity. But we want an assurance of a sense of responsibility from you, Mr. Goswami. I also want a sense of responsibility from you, Mr. Goswami. I don't listen to him anyway. And as it says, press freedom is crucial, but there has to be responsibility in reporting, and there are some areas one has to tread with caution.
Driving force of the nation, now driving Max Plus Logistics. Unparalleled discipline, exceptional work ethic and diligence combined with mental and physical agility to meet any challenges. Moving forward on the right path in the face of physical stress and adversity. Max Plus Logistics. Wait till the end for some more information. May the Max Force be with you.
Continuing with some geostrategic news, as before the visit of the 2+2, Pompeo aspired to push Trump's anti-China message in India. What had been written was Deputy Secretary of State Stephen Biegun visited New Delhi last week and called China an elephant in the room. It really is an elephant. Then it went on, a spokesman from the US said, we will take every opportunity to really advocate for a strong digital economy and partnership in the countries where we are going and seek support of the clean networks which we think works to every country's advantage, said Dean Thompson, the top US diplomat for South Asia. While this is happening like today, the meeting has started. India, US to sign backup pact during 2+2 meet. What it says is Rahul Singh and Razul Lashkar Jaishankar stressed the uniqueness of technology and talent flow connects between India and the US and said a knowledge economy with greater data sensitivity makes an even stronger case for collaboration according to the people. Education is a special bond between India and the US and both should work to further expand cooperation in the sphere, Jaishankar said. And for this, the visa protocol has to be improved. And as Rajat Pandit writes, India, US to tighten security embrace with Intel Pact today. Absolutely. Says India is set to get access to advanced satellite imagery, topographical and aeronautical digital data in real time from the US for the first enhancing accuracy of its missiles and armed drones as well as long-range navigation of military aircraft. Folks, we never had that. And Dipanjan Rai Chaudhary, minister, set stage for 2+2 dialogue. What is important here to note is the two sides discussed deployment of India's liaison officer at the vital US Central Military Command CENTCOM and the Africa Command AFRICOM and overlook US military operations in a large part of the world, including the African continent and Central Asia. This would be a significant step up in cooperation, as in the past the Indian side was primarily coordinating with the Pacific Corps. This is focus on the East. This left a vital gap of developments in Central and South Asia, including Pakistan. Now that's been filled. And here's something that I find interesting: a pole-proof relationship, 2+2 dialogue, as Raja Mohan writes, coming amid China's continuing aggression on the Ladakh frontier. The 2+2 dialogue between the Defense and Foreign Minister of India and the United States in Delhi this week marks an important moment in bilateral relations, as important as the nuclear deal. They should also set the stage for the elevation of the partnership to a higher level under the next administration, whether headed by Donald Trump or Joe Biden. He further says the dialogue followed India's first ever participation earlier this month in a meeting of the exclusive Five Eye grouping that facilitates intelligence sharing among the US, Canada, UK, Australia and New Zealand. Important, folks, important. Then it says Modi sees the advantage of building a strong partnership and has been able to advance the ties at a much faster and deliberate pace than in the UPA years, because UPA was caught in the goddamn left, like I said, dirty Raja and Yechuri, never to be trusted, and Karat. The quickening diplomatic dance of the last few weeks is also a consequence of the special circumstances that confront India and the US today. First is a huge military crisis on the northern border with China that is well into the 6th month. During the UPA years, Delhi avoided closer security ties with the US in deference to Beijing's sensitivities. Second is the pandemic. The coronavirus has sharpened the US debate on dangers of excessive economic interdependence on China. Meanwhile, Delhi has begun to reduce its commercial ties to Beijing in response to the PLA Ladakh. Delhi can absolutely disconnect far more than the United States. Opportunity for India to lead this bandwagon. Third is the focus on critical technologies. Hear this, guys. Like artificial intelligence that promise to transform most aspects of modern life, including security, political, economy, and social order. 2 decades ago, the Delhi and Washington focused on resolving the legacy issues surrounding the mid-20th century technology relating to nuclear weapons and missiles. Thanks to the Civil Nuclear Initiative, Those issues are behind us. Delhi and Washington are now focused on finding ways to collaborate on the critical technologies of the 21st century and work with their partners in setting new global rules for managing them. Important folks, this is something that you must note. And what's happening in our periphery, the ferment next door by Shyam Saran. He says, it is strange that the momentous political developments currently unfolding in Pakistan have barely registered here in India. The PDM was formed in September by leaders of the Jamaat Ulema-e-Islam Fazlur Rahman, but constituted by 11 political parties representing virtually the country's entire political spectrum. It's the most significant thing. PDM has also given a national platform to regional parties and provincial leaders from Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa who have been targeted by the Pakistani military for demanding regional autonomy and end to repression. What he goes on to say is very important for India. In demanding Imran Khan's ouster, the PDM's real target is the powerful military. In a speech broadcast from London, Nawaz Sharif explicitly accused the army chief Kumar Javed Bajwa and the ISI chief Faiz Hamid of rigging the last elections and installing Imran Khan as prime minister. Never happened before. This is a frontal attack on the army, and if allowed to snowball, it has the potential of eroding its overpowering influence in the country. But what's important as far as he's for him to note, on balance, its success could open the doors to potentially positive realignment. And perhaps there is a lesson here for India's own fragmented political opposition struggling to retain its political relevance in a BJP-dominated universe. But what's happening in Pakistan, the coming to the PDM and the Gupahar group in Srinagar when the National Conference and the PDP has come together. Changing times, changing political environments, all interconnected. India be focused, India be safe, India be sure. More after the break.
We believe in natural herbs and homemade remedies because the body deserves only purity. Think of natural products. Think of Sada Jeevan.
Welcome back, folks. A big event in Indian politics is the Bihar elections and some of the Madhya Pradesh by-elections. Very, very critical. Just like, it would seem like it was a no contest in Bihar, but the whole process has been upended, just like the US elections by the coronavirus. Humongous anti-incumbency developing against Nitish Kumar because of the migration labor and the way it was treated during the lockdown. Things are not as clear-cut as they seem, because besides the problems that they're having with the migrant labor, Tejasvi Yadav is up and running. His rallies are far more vibrant than the ones being run by Nitish Kumar. Second is this LP, the death of Ram Vilas Paswan, and LPJ having broken out on its own by Chirag Paswan. There seems to be a cloak and dagger kind of deal between the BJP and the LJP, a branch of the BJP and LJP to knock Nitish Kumar down. Will that play out? Will it work? Who knows, right? You can't take the voter for granted. Chirag Paswan definitely shouldn't think that the voters are dubbing. Who actually thinks that Chirag Paswan, who actually holds up Modi in his election campaign, is actually not doing something for the BJP? No, nobody actually really believes that. Can you? I can. Will the voter, probably the Bihari voter from Bihar, is probably far more knowledgeable and active than any other voter that I know of. Surprises in the wings. Surprise in November. Surprise in November in Bihar. Surprise in November in the United States. Who knows? But you can blame the corona and the handling of corona for what happens in Bihar and also what happens in Trump land. Jai Hind, let's watch.